Leaky camshaft seal is removed without disturbing the engine timing. Sweet, we installed a new seal, let's check it out. First start. Intake camshaft seal came out from the cylinder head. As you can see, I can move it with a screwdriver. That what caused a massive oil leak on Volvo. Okay, you can check the video down in the description below how that all happened, and I'm going to share with you how to replace that seal without any specialty tools, camshaft locking tool, crankshaft stopper tool, camshaft sprocket holding tool. You don't need that stuff. I will show you how I done on my vehicle, and everything worked well. Okay, let's get started step by step. Welcome to PistonShack channel. If you first time, please subscribe and click that notification bell. You won't miss any videos. Okay, this engine is interference engines like most of the Volvo's engine. Be careful with the engine timing. Make sure timing set to the factory specifications, otherwise it will be last day of your motor. Watch it to the end, don't skip any steps, all they're so important. Okay, as you can see, I marked the camshaft sprockets and then I put a mark on a valve cover, and as you can see we have already 30mm socket at the crankshaft pulley, and we need to set the first cylinder in top dead center. I just open it up the access to the crankshaft pulley bolt, and now I'm setting my ratchet and we will start turning the crankshaft clockwise. I'm almost at the top dead center, but I still need to go a hair more. Okay, as you can see, that yellow paint mark is for visual look, and you can locate your sprocket. I need to go a little bit, and that's it. On the bottom of the valve cover, the notch, you need to align that mark on a sprocket with the notch on valve cover, and you can see both camshaft sprockets are aligned. Now we're at the first cylinder top dead center. That's the first step you have to do. I'm using a carpenter's quick square to make a straight line, and we need to mark our camshaft. Make sure that mark will stay. Okay, everything's aligned. You see all in straight line down, and I'm going to use that paint marker and mark it a camshaft, and that mark is critically important for us, and we will get back to that mark later. As you can see, I'm marking it with the blue and sprocket on the bottom and camshaft end as well. Make sure mark is visible and mark should be accurate. That is our reference mark for future timing settings, and we don't want to mess up the timing even in an inch. Okay, now I have the same 30mm deep socket with a braking bar, and I'm locking that braking bar with a plastic zip ties, and I'm just simple as that. I'm just using them and tie them against the sway bar link connector. That way our crankshaft won't turn. I'm putting another one just in case, and make sure it's rock solid, won't move. Simple as that. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. I will glad to help you much as I can and help you save the money and save your lovely Volvo car. They're amazing. We all like them when we know that. Okay, crankshaft pulley has no chance to move anymore. Okay, now what manual will tell you, you need to remove the starter and put a crankshaft locking tool. There's a special tool you can get from Volvo. It's a crankshaft stop tool, but that's what you have to do according with the manual, but I got my own way. I just do way I like. Okay, and we just got that in place. Okay, now we're counting the teeth between the exhaust sprocket mark and intake Just keep it as a reference and write it down, and you will be fine. We'll be using that later during the timing belt installation and tensioning. Sequence of the steps is so important. Make sure you're following the same way. Okay, 10mm socket, shallow socket, and now we're removing the camshaft sprocket bolts, and I'm pushing towards myself with one hand. Make sure I won't apply the pushing force on the sprocket like this, and I'm just pushing a bit, like holding, make sure it's, and loosen the bolt with my another hand. Okay, that way it won't move, and you watch the marks, they're staying rock solid and nothing's moving, and we still have our tension on the timing belt. We didn't do anything at this point, and ever since in timing, bolts are loose and we have tensioner set to the proper tension. Okay, one more time check, make sure sprocket didn't move at this point, and now we can remove the bolts. And remember, time is the greatest value. It's decreasing over time. If you do it right, you won't spend the time doing the same thing again. And this is a demonstration, and it worked for me. It will probably work for you. Yeah, simple as that. And I only spent $25 on it, on a seal, on that seal, yeah, from the dealer, and nothing else. And yeah, a little bit of oil I put in the engine. Okay, as you can see, I removed the, well, I pulled my power steering reservoir. It just gives me more room, and it's better for filming. Yeah, this time you can remove that cover. So what I already did, place that reservoir over top of the engine, and yeah. Okay, next step, get your 12mm shallow socket with the ratchet ready, and yeah, rubber bungee cord. They're super handy, we need one. Okay, now we're going down to the belt tensioner. As you can see, there is a 12mm bolt. Now the time to lose the tension on the timing belt and turn that bolt counterclockwise and lose that bolt. To do it at the shop, replacing all those seals, so it might be doing a timing belt kit with a water pump at the shop will cost you like $1,500, and I done it just spending 25 bucks on the seal. It's it. I don't need anything else replaced. Okay, later in the video I will show you how to set that timing. Don't worry about those notches and that moving part. All fine. Now, as you can see, there's no tension on the belt anymore. It's all loose. Okay, that's good. And now just slide the belt of the intake sprocket carefully like this. And yeah, you don't need to remove the belt completely. Keep the belt on a crankshaft pulley and on exhaust camshaft sprocket as well. Now we go with our bungee cord, like so. Simple as that. Just well, that's a repair you wanna do. You get it fixed, or you just take your car to the shop. Yep, whatever you like. Anyway, I like to challenge myself and do it in a way probably might be easiest. I only removed the belt from the idler pulley and intake camshaft sprocket. Knowledge is the greatest asset. It always stays with you and saved you money and lots of time. Okay, now I'm removing those 3 bolts. And think about it, you don't need to buy those tools, which you will be probably using once, and they will cost you a few $100s. And yeah, what's the point? I like to do in the way I'm doing. I'm just sharing with you. If it's helpful to one person, that will be fantastic. Alright, as you can see, last bolt is removed. I like Volvos. I think they're amazing cars with great engineering. Okay, I removed the intake camshaft sprocket, and as you can see, holes, they're not round. And as well, you can see there's a mark from the bolt head, and we need to pay attention to that. I will get back to that later. No worries. Everything you need to know in this video, I think pretty much. It's obvious to me. Alright, you see the end of the intake camshaft, and seal is almost out. You know, you don't need to use the removal tool. Okay, now we're using the same blue paint marker, and we make that mark longer and put it like that. And you want to see that mark pretty good, and we already know that mark is our reference. Okay, can you imagine just removing this seal by hand? Yep, you can do it without a removal tool. Okay, seal just popped out. You know, just old seal got dried up. It's 20 years old car, 20 years old seal, and time to be replaced. And the engine and car itself has over 300,000 kilometers. Is getting close to 320, and yep, seal couldn't work anymore. And as you can see, seal is, well, it's hard to share how hard is this rubber on the seal, but it's all smooth, you know, like it's all dried up. And that seal, like when you buy a box seal, causes so many problems. Okay, now we need to do cleanup. I have my compressed air in the tank, and only in the tank. I don't have a power to run a compressor. No grid style, everything just in the woods. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. You still can do it. Okay, we'll clean that shaft. Make sure you want to clean the reference mark with it. Just be careful, don't scratch the camshaft surface. Make sure it's nice and clean, no dirt, no any debris, and everything must to be clean, because seal needs to seal against of that metal. And use the compressed air to blow everything what might be left, even just some dust. Make sure it's all clean. Yeah, keep it clean. That'll be good. Will work better than dirty. Okay, I cleaned that, and as you can see, we have that housing where seal will sit. It's all dry as well, and make sure there is no, we don't want our new seal to start spinning inside the cylinder head. Okay, now I have my sprocket, and do some cleanup. Clean the sprocket, make sure everything's nice and clean as well. And as you can see, I already shown you that holes are not round, perfect round, it's just like slots. And you pay attention to those old bolt marks on the sprocket, and that way we need to my brake cleaner can lost pressure, and now I'm just punctured the hole and just using the brake cleaner from the can as just a fluid, no pressure, and clean all the debris and the dirt what's built up over time inside the sprocket. Every time you do repairs, never assemble dirty, greasy parts. Make sure everything's clean. That way you know that quality repair done properly. Okay, that's a little bit more. Yeah, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. I like to read comments, any suggestions, and if you've done it in different way, it will be interesting to know. Please share with all of us. Yeah, there is a old seal and new seal came straight from the dealer, 25 bucks. There's a part number. I tried to get it from the local parts store. They couldn't find the right one. 3 times I tried different suppliers. Nope. Dealer, $25. Volvo OEM, came straight from France. Good quality. And same seal. Before you open the package, compare the seal. It might be the wrong one came, but you can return it that way. Okay, pull it out. Seal seems to be right. And yep, that's where you just compare side by side before you start installation process. Otherwise, you will wreck the seal and it won't work. Okay, inner outer diameter is the same. Let's check the thickness, and as you can see, new seal has a grooves, like it grabbing grooves all the way along the outside diameter, and there is a number as well. Is a Volvo OEM quality seal, and yeah, there's another one came for exhaust camshaft, but that one's not a problem. I don't think I will do that because that seal doesn't leak and seems to be fine. Let's just leave it for now. Now we're starting camshaft installation process finally. Okay, there's a seal and I found PVC fitting, which is the same diameter as my seal, and that you can find a chunk of PVC pipe. Make sure it's plastic and be careful with the seal installation. You don't want to damage. You just need to drive the seal in by tapping that fitting, and that fitting will push the seal inside. One more time, just clean up because my vehicle was parked for a week before I got a seal. Alright, we need to lubricate the lip of the seal, and that way seal will be lubricated properly and won't get dry. You don't want a dry contact in between the rubber of the seal and the camshaft, and make sure no lubricant oil will get on outer diameter of the seal. You can use just engine oil to lubricate. I'll add a little bit of grease and make sure it's rubber friendly grease, and yeah, you can lubricate the surface of the camshaft like so. Just go around. You don't need lots, just tiny little bit. Make sure it's all lubricated and seal will work smoothly. I don't want any dry contacts. Okay, just a little bit. You don't need much, just a tiny little bit. And yeah, you can put a little bit oil on the lip of the seal, and I already did it. And just wait, it should be done, and seal will be working how it should. There's no oil on the outside. I started placing the seal by hand. Make sure it's all going straight. Yeah, as I said, just put oil like this on a lip and seal will be happy, and we'll be happy with our Volvo get back on the road as well. Alright, place the seal in a hole like this, and you see it's all perfectly aligned and it's going straight. Idea is to push this seal in just by hand much as you can, and use your fitting. Inner diameter of the fitting is smaller than that outer diameter of the shaft, but I got another one, and just keep pushing it in just until it stops. Just be careful with the lip, make sure you won't damage. And I have, let's see, this one's actually slightly smaller. I found another one. This is a cut of PVC pipe. Perfect, you know, zero cost. Super cheap. And yep, and tap that adapter, so-called homemade adapter, with the side of the hammer, and that's it. You just need to do it exactly the way I'm doing. Yep, and the seal will stop as soon as it will get all the way in, because it's not deep. Yeah, you keep tapping like this and just go around, tick 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 tick. Yep, and then you take a look, see how it fits. Oh, a little bit more, and just go like gently, tick 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 tick. Just go up and down around, and seal will stop. That's it. It won't go any further. And as you take a look, and it's all even, and here we go. You install a new seal. Alright, take a look from this angle. New seal from Volvo OEM installed. Now we're halfway through, but still very important parts, how to get everything assembled without any locking tools and any other specialty tools. And yeah, we're going to start doing it right now. Alright, as you can see, that's the way I place my fitting over the seal, and just slightly tapped with the hammer, drove that seal inside the cylinder head. Yeah, that's like so. Yeah, old one, the same as a new one, just better. Alright, we're going forward. Now time to put our intake sprocket back in the same way it was installed. Okay, put it back like this, just walk it on the shaft and carefully push it in. Just sprocket is installed. It's on the shaft, but it's not tight yet. Okay, the bolts, clean the bolts, make sure there's no any grease or old sealant on them. You want them to be clean, and we need to apply Loctite blue. I'm using Permatex, so it doesn't matter which one are you using, but just make sure it's blue and will prevent bolts from getting loose. Just apply all the way on the threads, make sure you have enough, and those bolts will stay. When you will get them snagged and torqued, they will be fine. Okay, just all 3 bolts. I like Volvos, you know, I think Volvos, they made with that special spirit of quality and safety, and I see so many people still drive old Volvos. This Volvo is 20 years old, but with an issue like that, it's so sad to see vehicle go to the crasher, and I hope this video will help to save more Volvos and keep them on the roads, and yeah, that's kind of will be a good contribution. Okay, started those bolts tightening by hand. You always start it by hand. You see, I'm not using any power tools. Okay, align the sprocket with those old bolt marks from those bolt heads on the sprocket. Make sure they're exactly in the same spot. You see the round mark on the sprocket, align it with the bolt head same way. Take your time. If you're not sure or you don't feel confident, get much information as possible, and get all necessary parts and tools if you need. And yeah, just internet is the greatest resource. You can find so much information on YouTube, forums, like never ever before. All right, I'm just need to tie the bolt like gently, carefully, just to 1/8 of the turn, and not more than that. And I'm holding the sprocket. We just need to snag them just a bit. You don't need to push it too hard. We'll get back to torquing those bolts later. It's fine for now. Make sure just that's in place and we have the proper set on those. Now is the fun part, timing belt installation. No worries, we'll get it. Everything will be fine. Okay, remove that super useful rubber bungee cord, super good for camping. And yep, time to remove it. And the thing is, make sure you don't have any slack on the belt from the water pump up to exhaust sprocket. Make sure only slack you can have on the tensioner. That's what we want to see, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, place the teeth of the belt over the teeth on a sprocket. Just take your time, don't rush, you will get it. If I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing super scientific or like bioscience, like nuclear engineering. Okay, hold it with one hand, make sure belt won't slide off the exhaust sprocket, and carefully start placing the belt over the intake sprocket. Same way I'm doing. I mean, that's only one position you can do it right. And count those teeth. You know, check the tension, make sure there's no slack in between the sprockets, exhaust, and intake, and count those teeth. Make sure the same number you have in between. And now we're diving deep in. It's easy, my belt is off the idler pulley. That's okay. Belt is on a tensioner and a water pump, a crankshaft that didn't move. That's how it was originally. And see the tensioner adjuster As you move it from back and forth, just move it a few times, and as you see, it's still not seized. I will actually recommend you to check all components, like all those bearings and water pump. You can slide it belt off and verify it, make sure there's nothing is going to fail. Okay, now I lose the tension on a belt tensioner and slide it the belt over the idler, and as you can see, it's all in place. And now we'll set a tension. Okay, just Allen key is pointing 7 o'clock. Turn the belt tensioner anti-clockwise until its pointer reaches the stop to the right of the central notch. Then turn it back to align with the central notch. As you can see, depends on the ambient temperature. Settings can be a different notch, but my temperature is cooking hot. I'm setting to the last notch. Yours might be the different. Just refer to that. Okay. Once again, using the Allen key, turn the belt tensioner anti-clockwise until its pointer reaches the stop to the right of the central notch. Then turn it back to align with the central notch, as you see on the illustration, and your temperature might be different. Then hold the tensioner in a position with Allen key and tighten it with a wrench. Okay, that way your tension will be set and will stay, won't get it loose after all. Okay, that's a way you do it. There's millions of videos on YouTube how to do that, but yeah, there's another one. Setting tension, and as you can see, my notch is facing the another notch on the tensioner against it, and it's at the last one to the right. Yep, it's way we said. There's no slack, as you can see, it's all in proper tension. Just check before you go any further. Our belt is all in place, and your all timing marks probably too. Yeah, they are there. Yeah, and just pay attention, there shouldn't be any slack in between the idler and tensioner. Check all the way up, count those teeth if you want again, and as you can see, all marks are aligned. Now we still have to tie those camshaft sprocket bolts, remember that? Okay, now using the pipe pliers. I will put all torque specs down in the description below, check it out. Also will be more useful Volvo videos. Now we need to tighten those bolts. Pipe pliers, just holding the sprocket, make sure it won't move. Watch those marks on the sprocket, and also make sure pulley won't slide and the bolts will be moved. And yeah, just if you hold it like this, should be fine. And I'm not using torque wrench. I know what torque, I can feel it. But if you're comfortable with the torque wrench, yeah, go and use it. And yeah, as I said, put the torque specs in the description, check that part. Okay, now with the ratchet and 30mm deep socket, we're going to crank the engine twice, 360, then another 360, and verify, make sure everything's done properly before we'll go and start the engine. And those marks should be in place. Yeah, do that prior starting the engine with a starter, and that way you're safe, just in case if something happened, your belt tensioner got loose, or something is not turning properly, marks are not aligned. After you turn it the 360, then another 360 twice, and that way you're safe, you won't accidentally damage your engine. This is like, I would like to stress this part enough, just make sure you do that. Anytime you do the timing belt, you always rotate the crankshaft 2 full turns. Okay, after the 2 turns, I speed it up a little bit the process. Marks are in place. As you can see, all on one line, aligned. Now we feel confident and safe to go in for a double engine. Just do that. Don't forget this step. It might be okay if you done everything's right. If something's went wrong, you will wreck the engine. Okay, we have to connect it all electrical. That was disconnected for cleanup. Everything's connected. Next thing, add oil. Check the previous episode when vehicle run with that massive engine oil leak. It's at the tip of the dipstick. We still have oil. Now I will top it up. I think it's 8,000 kilometers after the oil change. We'll put some synthetic blend and we'll run it on it probably for another 3,000-5,000. Oil is the lifeblood of the engine. Make sure you do oil changes regularly and check the oil at least once a week, and that way your engine will last long. Most of the cars ended at the junkyard because people run the engine out of oil, unfortunately, but true. Okay, our oil is good, level is correct. Now I'm going to connect the negative battery terminal. We were disconnecting some electrical and we were doing cleanup. We disconnect that battery terminal, and moment of truth. Fantastic. She started right up. Let's go check it out. I will tell you, no misfiring, no shaking, no vibration, timing is right. And at this moment where I'm doing the editing, I already put 2,500 kilometers after I replaced the seal and all this repair was done. Fantastic, everything runs like a clock, no leaks, no issues, and I'm so happy to share with you this simple repair. Might help you. Let me know if you have the same issue, if something different happened on your favorite Volvo. And yeah, as you can see, she's running, she's working like a charm. She has a long life to go. Those Volvo engines, if you maintain them, take care of them, they will go over 500,000 miles. And greetings to all Volvo drivers. And yep, put all those covers and everything what was removed. Always the practices, safe repairs, and yep, that way everything will be reliable. And I will go and put all that back, and subscribe to the channel. We'll like Volvos and we'll help to share the knowledge and useful information. Go and watch more videos if you would like to support my small hobby YouTube channel, guys. And see you soon. Take care and help each other in the way we can and make this world better. See you. Bye bye now.